The second concept which Plato associated with poetry was that of imitation. Now, Plato is an idealist. He believes that all earthly things are copies of the divine idea, the idea in the mind of the creator. So he is an idealist because he believes in the notion of the idea, the truth of the idea, the absolute uh, perfection of the idea in the creator's mind. So he says that first the creator had an idea in his mind, and then the idea manifested as reality which was outside the creator. So the idea, so reality, that which we see around us, every work in creation that we see around us is a copy of that idea in the mind of the creator, right? So in that sense, Plato is an idealist. Now, when he talks about art, he says art is not an expression, but it is an imitation. Art imitates reality. So, reality is an imitation of the original idea in the mind of the creator, and art is an imitation of that reality, and therefore, art is twice removed from reality. Because reality itself is an imitation of the idea, and art itself is an imitation of reality. So, art is twice removed from truth. This was Plato's line of argument. So, he says that, in other words, art is an imitation of an imitation. And in fact, he makes this analogy clearer with reference to a painter. He says, what does a painter do? A painter paints something. A painter is inspired by something in nature, or something that he sees around him. It could be a palace, or it could be a beautiful vase, or a flower pot, or a lake. So it could be something in nature, or it could be something man made. Now, if it is man made, then it that art is thrice removed from reality. If it's nature, anyways, it is twice removed from reality, because when the painter is replicating a lake on his canvas, that is again an imitation of the real lake, which is an imitation of the idea of lake in the mind of the creator. So he says, uh, and he doesn't even understand the relevance of the painter's job. He says, what does a painter do? He is just copying and presenting reality. He is just superficially involved with what he sees around himself. What is the point in imitating something which is already out there? Unlike a philosopher who is apprehending reality, who is trying to raise questions about reality. So, all of this is actually Plato's argument to put philosophy at the top, and to pitch it against art, and to prove that philosophy is superior to art. So Plato expands this reference of the painter to include all other art forms, and he says basically all art forms are meaningless because they are just mere imitations. And Plato absolutely refuses to acknowledge that art could, in fact, be much more than an imitation. It could be an idealized representation of reality. In fact, the artist could be giving us a better version of reality. That uh, thought probably does not strike Plato, or probably he does not accommodate it. He does not want to acknowledge that possibility.